Film of cruelty in Indonesian abattoirs had a profound effect in Australia when it was released last year, and the ripples are still being felt. Next week, the South Australian Parliament will debate changes to the Livestock Act, and one MP wants the RSPCA stripped of responsibility to investigate claims of livestock cruelty, and that power given to primary industries. In a moment, we'll hear from the Minister for Agriculture, but first, this report. For all his life, Robert Brokenshire has been a dairy farmer, like his father before him. The little brown cows, he says, are his pride and joy.
I love animals myself. 24/7 someone's home looking after our animals. I was taught from a young age, you don't feed yourself until you feed all your livestock. And you don't go to bed at night until you know all your livestock are safe.
Like every other farmer in the state, the way in which he handles his livestock is governed by legislation. Should there be any complaints about the manner in which livestock are treated, they're investigated by the RSPCA. But Robert Brokenshire says it's the wrong organisation for the job, and in his role as an Upper House MP, he's pushing to remove both the RSPCA and the police from investigating allegations of livestock mistreatment.
I believe, and so do a lot of other people, that the Department of Primary Industries should be the responsible senior authority with respect to that animal husbandry, animal welfare for agriculture.
If you ask the South Australian community, they would be wanting a body that exists to represent the interests of animals, inspecting the welfare of livestock, not a government body that exists to represent the interests of producers. There is a clear conflict of interest that should make this proposal absolutely untenable.
A memorandum of understanding was signed between the RSPCA and primary industries in 2006 over livestock investigations. Robert Brokenshire says it's not that the RSPCA is doing a bad job, but having responsibility for the welfare of pets, wildlife and livestock leaves it overstretched and underfunded. The RSPCA's Neil Sutton insists the organisation can cope.
We do have the resources. We've got 8 investigators, 8 inspectors here and a Deputy Chief Inspector who are on the road on a regular basis. We fund those quite well. The organisation is sound and we're not seeking any greater resources.
David Basham is another dairy farmer unimpressed with the current system, arguing it splits animal welfare. The Department of Primary Industries is responsible for disease outbreaks in livestock, the RSPCA for the rest. And while David Basham says the RSPCA knows its business over domestic and wild animals, it hasn't taken the steps it needs to understand livestock.
They asked the dairy industry a couple of years ago, probably 3 now, whether we could get together at some point to discuss about welfare on dairy farms. To date, that still hasn't happened.
Well, certainly it's our intention going forward, and since I've arrived, to enhance our relationship with the livestock industry. G'day guys. Hiya. Busy day? Yeah, pretty good.
For its part, the RSPCA claims Robert Brokenshire hasn't spoken to it about his amendment.
I think it's important to note that no one's, including Mr Brokenshire, has bothered to speak to us on this. If they were seeking an appropriate outcome to this, you would think that we would have a part of the advisory in this, and we haven't.
Behind all of this, there is a larger issue at play. It's a question of influence over animal welfare policy, regulation and policing. It came to the foreground last year when the group Animals Australia released, through the ABC's Four Corners program, shocking vision of cruelty in Indonesian abattoirs.
I think for the first time perhaps Australians were fully understanding that animals raised for food actually suffer in the same way that their pets do at home.
Robert Brokenshire says Animals Australia did the right thing in publicising what's happening in Indonesia, but he says there was a political overreaction and farmers fear Animals Australia, at its heart, does not support the right to make a living out of livestock.
At the moment, the balance has been removed from the debate. To give credit to the animal activists, they're out there left, right and centre, but clearly they are putting an extreme view forward, and the balance with respect to agriculture, and importantly the strength of the economy in Australia and the future opportunities, is not being considered properly in the debate.
Animals Australia's position is that any animals that are raised for food should be treated humanely, and that they should also get legal protection from acts of cruelty, and currently the legislation nationwide isn't doing that. So for us, these campaigns and our campaigning is about getting equal legal protection from acts of cruelty. It's not about ending farming pursuits.
The RSPCA does campaign with Animals Australia, but both organisations say there's a firewall between that and the RSPCA's role of investigation. Robert Brokenshire notes, and the RSPCA agrees, there's no one with a farming background on the organisation's board. The contest for influence will continue, with livestock legislation being debated in Parliament next week.